Okay, so I've had my Mark 6R for about 2 months. It took me about a month to find this actual spec as well. So today I'm going to be talking about a Mark 6R buy-in guide. This car is up for sale as well, but that's not why I'm doing this content. I'm doing the content because I know these cars are super rare. So you need to know what you're trying to find. We're going to be talking about spec. We're going to be talking about engine. We're going to be talking about the fact that half of them are imported. If you do enjoy all this, does help you in any way, shape or form, please do leave a like and subscribe. And let's talk about, let's start with spec. So these can come in like blue, black, red, grey, white. I think that's it. I've obviously gone for blue. I think white looks nice as well. All the colours suit it. You can tell it's an R, mainly from the exhaust, to be honest, in the front bumper. You've got the R20 bumper and the dual exit exhaust. Obviously you can get the kit for like your GTD and your TSI, but yeah, this is the actual R. Obviously do your reg checks and everything. I'm not here to tell you how to actually buy a car. So once you get to your R, there's a few things you want to see. First thing is the headlights. So they come with a chrome insert or a black insert. The reason it would be a black insert is if you've got 19-inch wheels. So it's this design, but it's one size up. They're the optional extra wheels for the Golf R. Another way to tell is when it's got the 19-inch wheels, there's a little plastic bit here. Now, if it's got the wheels and it hasn't got the headlights or the plastic bit, it's not the end of the world. People change wheels, people swap them out. But if you're buying a standard car and it hasn't got the standard wheels because it hasn't got them other bits that come along with it, I don't know if this is making sense. If they've changed the wheels, just make sure you keep an eye on everything else, because the wheels, yes, you can change them, but if they're not standard, make sure there's nothing else that isn't standard, if that makes sense. Obviously the plastic trim and the headlights, they all come together with the 19-inch rims. All Golf Rs have these tail lights. They're like LED, they're like arc kind of thing. They look amazing. Obviously you can get them like on the GTD and things like that, but every single Golf R has these tail lights. Some Golf Rs like mine have the camera in the boot, like under the badge. I don't know if you can even see it, but it isn't. No, it's locked away. But some Golf Rs like mine do have a badge in the boot. It won't be down by the plate or anything. It'll be in the boot, and when you put it into reverse, the camera will pop out. Going around to the side, you can get them in a 3-door or a 5-door. Me personally, I think the 3 doors are a bit daft. The wing mirrors come in gloss black. This is before they did like the satin silver for the Rs and the S3s and all that kind of stuff. They can also come with a sunroof. They're quite hard to find, and you find if you do have a sunroof, you haven't got some other specs. So let's go inside and let's talk about it. DSG is my favourite. It does also come in a manual, but the most important thing about these cars is the wingback seats. You can get cloth seats, leather seats, and then these wingback seats. They fetch a pretty penny online as well, so if you do find them, try not to turn them down. They've all got this like handle where they fold as if it's a 3-door seat. Don't worry, that's just how they come from the standard. It may have been swapped in, but you can't really tell. Obviously it is quite like a firm side bolster, so just make sure it's not too worn on the sides here. But yeah, if you can find one with these seats, have it. Some more spec is the dual zone climate control, so like your passenger can be freezing cold and you can be steaming hot. That is actually an optional extra. As far as I'm aware, I may be wrong, parking sensors, things like that, but I think that might be everything. So now let's talk about the fact that they're all Japanese import. Mine is one of them. It's a Japanese import, hence the mental drill holes which I was supposed to get filled, but obviously the car is up for sale. Japanese import isn't really the end of the world. It's still right-hand drive. It's easily converted, isn't it? It actually has to be converted when it gets into the country, so there's not really anything bad about it. The main thing is paperwork and insurance. You find when it's imported, they tend to lose a lot of the paperwork. It can be sourced. There's also an auction link from Japan, so if you're able to find that, that's good. It brings up all the information, the mileage, where it was sold, if it was crashed or anything. Because you find, because it's an import, the like car vertical checks and things like that don't really work on these. This has only been in the country since December, so there's like no information on it. As far as it's aware, this car was made in December. The main thing to note, as I said, is insurance. It will be a little bit more expensive. It's not really noticeable. I'm young and I could afford it. It's not really noticeable, but it is a bit more expensive for a Japanese import. It's also a bit like some insurance companies won't really insure you for it, things like that. So make sure you do your quotes before you buy the car. But that's a standard thing. Now we're going to be talking about engine and what can go wrong on them and like things to look out for. Haldex, these are all 4-wheel drive cars. To tell if the gearbox, if the Haldex has been serviced, is if the front wheels spin up, like if you do like a launch or a fast acceleration. When these 4-wheel drive systems need to be serviced, you find the front wheels spin a lot more, which they're not supposed to. It's supposed to grip. It's not really a 50-50, but it shows more when it needs a service. So mine's completely fine, but that is one of the big telltale signs. Another sign for the gearbox, if you've got a DSG one, is it gets a bit sloppy, or it like hesitates when it goes to change gear. All just standard car things, but it's definitely worth keeping an eye on, because as I'm sure you're aware, on a Golf R, it's not cheap to fix that kind of stuff. Another issue is the cam follower, especially when you go stage 1, stage 2. They need to be changed quite often. I had a Cupra K1 last year, very similar engine, and they serviced the cam follower every like 10k or so. It's meant to be a simple job. Another really big issue on these is the oil dipstick. It disintegrates, like the O-ring disintegrates, and it actually falls into the oil. So make sure you have a look at that. There are replacement kits out there to like fix them issues. All the problems on this car, there's kits and parts and mods to fix them. There's nothing that can really kill these cars. It's just best to make sure you pick up a good example to start with, rather than trying to make a good example from a bad one. Hopefully this helps if you're trying to buy a Mark 6R. They are really fun cars. They're reliable, they're good. You just got to keep on top of the servicing and the parts and everything like that. Just be prepared, because things can go wrong. When it does go wrong, it's not very cheap. I've really enjoyed the time with mine. As I've said in the previous one, I'm only selling it because I just enjoy these like front wheel drive silly fun cars. These do still have a place in my heart, but being 21, I don't really need like a sensible, reliable, everyday car. I spent a ton of time trying to find the right one, so I'm basically just showing you what I found. I may be wrong on some points, I may have forgotten some points, so do put it in the comments. I'm sure I've forgotten something. But that is essentially a guide on how to buy a Mark 6 Golf R. So hopefully you enjoyed what's come of this, both the video and the car in general. I think this is the last time you'll see the car on the channel, so onwards and upwards. Hopefully I'll see you again. Cheers.